What's the most creative way you've ever followed your parents' rules? Just to annoy them. My parents had a rule, no screens after 8 p.m. Fair enough. Most parents have screen rules, but mine didn't specify what counted as a screen. So I bought a typewriter. It started junior year. I was 16. My parents were strict about technology. No phone after 8, no laptop, no TV, no iPad. The rule was designed to make me sleep earlier and reconnect with the family. In reality, it meant sitting in the living room while my parents watched their own screens, the TV, and told me to read a book. The hypocrisy drove me insane. They'd be watching Netflix at 9 p.m. and I'd be sitting there with a paperback like it was 1953. I complained once, "You guys are looking at screens right now. We're adults, so screens are only bad for children. Go read your book." I read the book, but I was plotting for context. My parents enforced the rule aggressively. If I was caught with my phone after 8, it got confiscated. For a week, my laptop lived in a drawer that my mom literally padlocked at 7:55 every night. She bought a timer lock from Amazon. It clicked shut automatically. She was proud of this system. So I went to a local thrift store and bought a manual typewriter, a Royal Quiet Deluxe from 1955, $45, heavy as a cinder block, beautiful. I set it up on the kitchen table at 8:05 p.m. on a Tuesday night. Clack, 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 clack. My dad looked up from the TV. "What is that noise?" "I'm writing on what?" "A typewriter." "It's not a screen." He stared at me, then at the typewriter, then at my mom. She stared at the typewriter, then at me, then at my dad. "It's not a screen," I repeated. They couldn't argue. The rule said no screens. A typewriter has 0 screens, 0 electricity, 0 Wi-Fi. It's a mechanical device from the Eisenhower administration. You can't use that in the kitchen. Where should I use it? Your room. The rule says. I have to be in the common area after 8 to reconnect with the family. My dad's eye twitched. I typed for 3 hours that night. Clack, 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 clack. The sound was relentless. TV volume went up. I typed louder. My mom put on headphones. I typed harder. The carriage return, that metallic zing at the end of every line became the soundtrack of their evening. They lasted 2 nights. No typewriters after 8. The rule says no screens. We're adding typewriters. Fine. I'll find something else. The next night. I brought out a recorder, the musical instrument, the one every 3rd grader plays badly. I'd found one in the garage from elementary school. "What are you doing practicing music?" "It's not a screen. It's not a typewriter. And the rule says I should use this time productively." My mom covered her face with a pillow. My dad muted the TV, which was useless because the recorder was louder than anything on Netflix. No instruments. After 8, the rule says no instruments. Fine. The next night, I set up an easel in the living room, a canvas, oil paints. I started painting slowly, methodically, in complete silence. My parents were suspicious but relieved. No noise, no clacking, no recorder, just their son quietly painting. Then the smell hit. Oil paint has a distinct pungent odor. Within 20 minutes, the living room smelled like a chemical plant. My mom's eyes were watering. "Is that oil paint?" "Yes. I'm developing a new hobby since you've banned all my other ones." "It stinks. Art has a cost. Paint somewhere else." The rule says. Common area. Paint in the garage. The garage doesn't have good lighting. I need to see the colors accurately. My dad stood up, turned off the TV, walked to my painting, looked at it. "What is this supposed to be?" "It's abstract. It represents the frustration of a teenager whose creative outlets have been systematically eliminated by authoritarian parenting." He stared at me for a very long time. "Go to your room with or without my phone." He didn't answer, just pointed up the stairs. I went to my room without my phone, but I'd made my point. The next morning, my mom sat me down at breakfast. He had a new version of the rule written out. On a piece of paper. It was 2 pages long, single-spaced, no screens, typewriters, musical instruments, oil paints, clay sculpting, woodworking, welding, cooking experiments or any activity that produces excessive noise, odor, or mess. After 8 p.m. I read it carefully, nodded. "What about knitting?" "What? Knitting? It's quiet. It doesn't smell. It doesn't produce excessive noise, odor, or mess. And it's not on your list." I checked twice. My mom's eye twitched, the same twitch my dad gets, genetic. "You are not going to sit in my living room and knit." My mom looked at the list. Knitting wasn't on it. "If you start knitting at 8 p.m., I will lose my mind." "But is it against the rules?" She grabbed the pen, wrote knitting on the list, then crocheting, then origami, then calligraphy. She was trying to preemptively ban everything I might think of, but she couldn't because there are infinite quiet hobbies and I had the internet for 8 hours a day to research them. For the next 6 months, I found a new activity every week that technically wasn't on the ban list. Horse code with a flashlight, sign language practice, silent educational shadow puppets on the living room wall using the TV's own backlight. Solving a Rubik's Cube at increasingly aggressive speeds. Whistling, not technically an instrument. Competitive pen spinning. Each one lasted until my parents added it to the list. List grew to 4 pages. My dad laminated it and hung it. On the fridge. One night I walked into the living room at 8:01 p.m., sat on the couch, crossed my arms and stared straight ahead. Silent. Still. No activity. "What are you doing?" "Nothing." Nothing isn't on the list. My mom put her head on the table. The following weekend, my parents sat me down, not angry this time, exhausted. My dad looked like he hadn't slept in weeks. Here's the new rule, he said. You can have your phone until 10 p.m. on the condition that you never buy another typewriter, instrument, or art supply without consulting us first. Deal, and you destroy the list. I'm keeping a copy for my future children. My mom almost laughed. And that 4-page laminated list is still on their fridge because my dad says it reminds him that our son will be a lawyer someday and God help whoever opposes him in court.